Hi, I'm Paul from Outlier, and we are developing Mars Attacks, which is a theme park management game where you play as the aliens from Mars Attacks and build a theme park on Mars, abducting humans to serve as the star exhibits. We recently announced the game at the Future Game Show at Gamescom, and I think it's safe to say it went well. It's one of IGN's top viewed videos of all of Gamescom, and there's one comment that keeps coming up. If we're making a Mars Attacks game, why a park builder? Why not something, for example, like Dead by Daylight? Or Destroy All Humans? Or maybe even a multiplayer shooter? So in this devlog, let's chat about it. If you haven't seen the trailer already, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. The intention with the trailer really was to surprise people with something that's a bit new and different and really a unique spin on the Mars Attacks IP. In the trailer, we follow several humans who are eventually revealed to be imprisoned within enclosures within a Martian theme park. So for us, every game starts with a core gameplay idea, and then we think about potentially story or IP. And in this case, what really interested us was the concept of having humans as exhibits within a Zoo Tycoon type game. We'd never really seen that before, and thought it had a load of really interesting gameplay implications which we could play on as we built out the project. So with that core gameplay concept, one of the other things that we wanted to get across was the kind of humor and mischief that we loved from games of our youth, like Theme Hospital or Dungeon Keeper or Evil Genius. And that's really when the idea of the potential of playing as the Martians from Mars Attacks really came into fruition. So at that point we started making some phone calls and reached out to Tops, who own the Mars Attacks IP, to see if we could make that a reality. And to our extreme surprise, not only had there never been a Mars Attacks video game before, but they were open to the idea and really loved this kind of left field concept that we'd come up with. One of the most fun elements of strategy and simulation games is messing with all the interconnected systems. But as a developer, one of the challenges we face is how do you introduce that to people in a way that's both interesting and cinematic. The initial idea for the trailer was to have a single shot flowing through a frozen moment in time within the park, kind of similar to the Dead Island trailer, which I think was a fantastic example. From that we started storyboarding and deciding on the key beats that we wanted to hit, and in doing that realized that the scale of the digital set that we'd have to create for a single shot was well beyond the production scope that we have as an indie studio. So what we ended up doing is stitching together several panning shots across human enclosures and hiding the transition with the dividing walls. The final shot with the full view of the park is the largest and most complex of the trailer. So in order to cut down on budget, we decided to use in-game models for the park itself. In order to hide some of the gaminess of the models, we decided to backlight the shot with a sunrise coming up in the distance. If you've seen the trailer, you'll know it's set to House of the Rising Sun, and that was really just a happy accident that we have this rising sun metaphor permeating through the different elements of the trailer. As an indie studio, we don't always have the resources or the knowledge of how to execute to such a great standard. So this is an amazing example of working with friends or people that we know to build something really special. So the visuals, for example, in the trailer were created by Dream Harvest in the UK. And the song is a unique spin on House of the Rising Sun, composed by our regular composer Hakon Davidsson, with the vocals from an incredibly talented Irish singer called Liam Brick. It's really the product of a collaboration of a number of different people with different skill sets coming together to try and get across the excitement about the game that we have, but also the core concept of gameplay and the Mars Attacks IP. Which brings us back to why are we building a park builder? So there was no kind of Dr. Strangelove execs in a meeting room trying to work out what kind of Mars Attacks game to build. It really came from gameplay first and a unique and interesting gameplay concept that we hadn't seen before that had ramifications on how you play the game. And from there, deciding what kind of world and characters we wanted to inhabit it. The story and the characters within the game are so different to what we've seen within the Mars Attacks universe before that it's something we're actively working on and really trying to nail down that tone and focus on the humor, the mischief, and in the next few months we'll be building out that world to make sure it's matching the humor and darkness and sadistic nature of the Martians that people are so familiar with from Mars Attacks. So subscribe to see future devlogs where we cover that and much more. And in the meantime, we're running a competition. For every devlog we release, we will give away a free Steam key. All you need to do is be a subscriber to the channel and drop a comment in the video, and we'll let you know who's won by random selection in the next video. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. The core gameplay idea that got us interested in the idea, like, need a thesaurus when you're doing these things.